Welcome, fellow seekers of truth, to Chronos Unveiled, where the sands of time whisper secrets and the echoes of history reveal forgotten realities. Today, we journey to an age where gods walked among mortals, where empires rose and fell like tides, and where one man carved his name into the very fabric of eternity. We speak, of course, of Ramses II, Ramses the Great. But was he truly just a pharaoh, a king among men? Or was he something more, a puppet of ancient forces, a vessel for a power we can barely comprehend? For over 3 millennia, his colossal statues have stood sentinel against the relentless march of time. His temples still pierce the desert sky, and his very name resonates with an almost mystical power. He ruled Egypt with an iron grip for an astonishing 6 decades, transforming the land of the Nile into a glittering jewel of the ancient world. They called him the Pharaoh of Pharaohs, a living deity, the chosen son of Ra himself. But beneath the gilded pronouncements and the monumental artistry, what secrets did Ramses the Great truly hide? Was his legendary reign a testament to human will, or was it guided by a wisdom, or perhaps a darker influence, that defies our modern understanding? Before we plunge headfirst into the mysteries of his life, if you're ready to peel back the layers of history and uncover the truth, hit that like button and subscribe to Chronos Unveiled. Your journey into the unknown begins now. Around 1300 BCE, the world was a crucible of power. Civilizations clashed, trade routes were battlegrounds, and empires vied for dominance like titans wrestling for supremacy. In the sun-drenched lands of the Mediterranean, the powerful Hittite Empire, shrouded in its own enigmatic past, cast a long shadow over the Levant. Further east, the ancient cities of Babylonia and Assyria simmered with ambition, their destinies intertwined with the whispers of ancient prophecies. But at the heart of it all, a beacon of civilization, lay Egypt, the land of the pyramids, the cradle of forgotten knowledge. Under the enigmatic 19th dynasty, Egypt was a formidable power, its new capital, Pi-Ramses, a bustling metropolis in the Nile Delta, a hub of commerce and perhaps a secret nexus of forgotten arcane arts. This was the stage. This was the world into which Ramses II was thrust, not merely as a ruler, but as a figure destined to embody the very essence of Egyptian might, and perhaps its deepest mysteries. From his earliest days, it was clear Ramses was no ordinary mortal. Whispers in the ancient courts spoke of an extraordinary aura surrounding him, a magnetic presence that captivated all who met him. Was it divine blessing, as the priests claimed? Or was it something else, something engineered, perhaps even manipulated? Some fringe historians and esoteric theorists posit that Ramses was not merely born into royalty but chosen, groomed from childhood by a hidden order of Egyptian magi, keepers of ancient wisdom passed down from the legendary Thoth himself. They believed that certain pharaohs were not just leaders but conduits for cosmic energy, their destinies interwoven with the very health of the cosmos. Ramses, they argue, was one such conduit, his reign a carefully orchestrated performance designed to stabilize the balance between the earthly and the divine. His early life was a whirlwind of military training, political intrigue, and intense spiritual instruction. He mastered the bow, the chariot, and the art of diplomacy with uncanny speed. They say he possessed an innate understanding of strategy, a tactical genius that seemed almost clairvoyant. But where did this wisdom truly come from? Was it simply prodigious talent, or was he tapping into a deeper, unseen current of knowledge, perhaps from the very stargates that some believe lie hidden beneath the Giza Plateau? He was a warrior, yes, but also a builder of unparalleled vision. His monumental constructions, from the towering pylons of Karnak to the awe-inspiring rock-cut temples of Abu Simbel, were not merely acts of royal vanity. Some suggest these temples, with their precise astronomical alignments, served a dual purpose, not only to honor the gods but also as gigantic energy conduits, tapping into telluric currents, or even as cryptic maps of the stars designed to guide future generations to lost knowledge. Think about it. Temples carved directly into mountains, facing the rising sun on specific celestial events. Was it just devotion or a sophisticated understanding of cosmic mechanics? Ramses's most iconic moment, the Battle of Kadesh, is etched into history as a testament to his military prowess. He faced the mighty Hittite army, a formidable force led by Muwatalli II, a king shrouded in his own legends. The official narrative paints a picture of Ramses, outnumbered and betrayed, turning the tide of battle through sheer personal bravery and divine intervention. A heroic, inspiring tale. But what if the truth was far more complex? What if Kadesh wasn't just a battle, but a meticulously choreographed dance of power, a test orchestrated by forces beyond human comprehension? There are whispers, ancient fragmented texts, and even some modern ufology theories that suggest both the Egyptians and the Hittites were, in a way, clients of a more advanced, extraterrestrial intelligence. They say these entities, from the Dogon star system or the Syrian Council, as some theorists propose, had an interest in maintaining a balance of power on Earth, preventing any single empire from dominating entirely. Perhaps the divine intervention Ramses experienced wasn't Ra himself, but rather technological assistance, unseen aerial craft, or even subtle energetic manipulation of the battlefield, designed to create a stalemate, forcing both empires to negotiate. The subsequent peace treaty, the world's first documented peace treaty, was remarkably fair to both sides. It wasn't a victor's spoils, but a mutual agreement, almost as if dictated by an impartial third party. Could this shadow alliance explain the sudden, almost too perfect resolution to such a bloody conflict? The treaty itself was carved in silver, a metal often associated with lunar deities and ancient, forgotten technologies. Was this just a symbolic gesture, or was the silver imbued with something more? A subtle energetic signature binding the two powers in an unbreakable pact, enforced by entities unseen? The idea of a benevolent, or perhaps self-interested, higher power orchestrating peace from the shadows is a fascinating, if unsettling, thought. Ramses's reign was undeniably long, an almost unprecedented 66 years. His Jubilee festivals, known as the Sed Festivals, were not just celebrations of his continued rule, but ancient rituals believed to rejuvenate the pharaoh, renewing his divine energy. Could these rituals have been more than symbolic? Did they involve forgotten alchemical processes, or even a form of early energy transfer that prolonged his life and vitality, perhaps through technologies gifted by the ancient astronauts of Erich von Däniken's theories? As he aged, the image of the eternally youthful, vibrant pharaoh remained, even as his body withered. The official pronouncements and depictions continued to portray him as a god-king, virile and powerful, even when he was clearly an old man ravaged by ailments. This wasn't just propaganda. It was a profound act of collective belief, a ritual of image construction designed to preserve the illusion of immortality, even in the face of biological decay. His journey from the grandeur of his hypostyle halls to the hidden chambers where his mummy was eventually placed is a spectrum of contradictions. The desire to defy eternity, to project an image of unending power even after death, is a primal human urge. But with Ramses, it feels different, almost as if he, or the forces guiding him, knew his legacy had to endure, not just in memory, but in tangible form. The culmination of his life was not his final breath, but the meticulous preparation of his mummy. The priests, those guardians of ancient secrets, performed elaborate rituals, binding his body not just in linen, but in what they believed was a spiritual tether to the afterlife. They weren't just preserving a body. They were, in their understanding, preserving a soul, ensuring its passage to the duat, the underworld. But what if this was just a cover? What if the elaborate mummification process was less about the afterlife and more about a different kind of preservation? Some say that certain pharaohs, like Ramses, were part of a long-term plan, their preserved bodies acting as anchors, energetic focal points for something yet to come. Could his mummy, hidden away from desecration for millennia, be more than just a historical artifact? Could it be a dormant energy source or even a genetic blueprint, waiting for a specific cosmic alignment to awaken? When Ramses II finally drew his last breath, the ancient Egyptian consciousness didn't mourn his end. It celebrated his second life. Priests with their arcane knowledge performed rituals that would bewilder modern science, sealing his physical form in sacred bandages, not just to preserve, but to usher him into the afterlife, a dimension few truly understood. Then, centuries later, his mummy was uncovered from its shroud, resurrected not just in the eyes of archaeologists and historians, but in the collective consciousness of the modern world. Every discovery, every deciphered hieroglyph, every new insight into his reign has brought him back to life in our minds, a testament to his enduring power. Through each monumental construction, each shrewd peace treaty, each grand festival, Ramses II meticulously crafted a narrative, a divine autobiography etched in stone and papyrus. He didn't just rule an empire, he became the empire. He didn't just fight battles, he embodied victory. But the question remains, was Ramses the Great truly a god on earth, a man chosen by divine providence? Or was he a man of flesh and power, albeit one of extraordinary talent, whose legend was amplified and perhaps subtly shaped by forces we are only now beginning to dimly perceive? The colossal scope of his reign, his uncanny ability to survive and thrive, his unyielding desire for immortality, these elements continue to baffle and inspire. Ramses the Great, the pharaoh of pharaohs, remains an enigma. A man, a myth, a legend, perhaps even a key to understanding the deeper, hidden histories of our world. As the sands of Egypt continue to shift, perhaps one day the true secrets of his reign and the forces that truly guided him will finally be unveiled. Until then, the story of Ramses II continues to echo through the ages, a powerful reminder that history is rarely as simple as it seems. All right, let's weave some more intricate threads into the tapestry of Ramses' story. We'll explore forgotten artifacts, hidden lineages, and truly unsettling theories. The grandeur of Ramses' reign wasn't merely built on military might and architectural ambition. Legend speaks of an artifact, whispered about in hushed tones by generations of occult historians, the Eye of Horus. Not merely the symbol we know, but a physical relic, believed to be a fragment of a greater forgotten power, a device capable of enhancing perception, foreseeing futures, and even manipulating the very fabric of reality. Official history attributes Ramses' uncanny foresight and strategic brilliance to his innate genius. But what if he possessed an advantage, a tool that granted him insights beyond human comprehension? Some ancient texts, tragically lost to the fires of the Library of Alexandria, allegedly hinted at the eye's true nature, a piece of technology, perhaps even alien in origin, bestowed upon early pharaohs by the so-called Shining Ones, beings described in obscure Sumerian tablets as arriving on Earth from the stars. The theory goes that the eye was not simply an amulet, but a complex biomechanical interface. When wielded by a pharaoh with the appropriate genetic predisposition, a lineage supposedly traced back to the pre-dynastic Horus kings, it granted access to a vast network of information, perhaps even allowing a temporary connection to what modern theorists call the Akashic Records, a cosmic library of all knowledge. This could explain his ability to not only outmaneuver foes but also to conceptualize and execute monumental building projects with seemingly impossible precision. How else could ancient Egyptians, without modern surveying tools, achieve such astronomical accuracy in their constructions? After Ramses' passing, the Eye of Horus, along with other similar Atlantean artifacts, as some New Age theorists term them, were not buried with him. Instead, they were reportedly spirited away by a secret brotherhood of priests, the Keepers of the Sacred Flame, charged with safeguarding these dangerous relics until a time when humanity was deemed worthy, or perhaps until a specific celestial alignment triggered their re-emergence. Could this lost technology still exist, hidden in some forgotten sarcophagus or beneath a remote desert temple, waiting to be rediscovered by those who understand its true power? And if so, what would happen if it fell into the wrong hands today? For centuries, mainstream Egyptology has painted a picture of Ramses as the legitimate heir, firmly seated on the throne of Egypt. But what if his claim was not as clear-cut as history suggests? Conspiracy theories, whispered in the shadows of academia, hint at a deeper, more unsettling truth: that Ramses II, while a powerful leader, was part of a meticulously planned divine usurpation. According to this theory, the original, purest pharaonic bloodline was not of this world, but descended directly from the celestial entities who first guided humanity. This lineage, known as the Children of the Serpent, was believed to possess unique genetic markers that allowed them to commune directly with these higher beings. They were the true priest-kings, their rule ordained by an ancient, non-human intelligence. However, over millennia, this pure bloodline supposedly became diluted, weakened by intermarriage and the lure of earthly power. The 19th dynasty, to which Ramses belonged, is sometimes cited as a period of significant dilution. So, how did Ramses, seemingly a regular human, achieve such unparalleled divine status and longevity? The theory proposes that a faction of ambitious high priests, perhaps in league with dissenting Anunnaki factions, as theorized by Zechariah Sitchin, suggesting ancient Mesopotamian deities were extraterrestrials, decided to engineer a new, divine pharaoh. They needed a figure who could command respect, fight wars, and, crucially, uphold the illusion of divine right, even if the true lineage had been compromised. Ramses, born with exceptional intellect and charisma, was perhaps identified early on as a prime candidate. The intensive spiritual training, the access to forgotten knowledge, the ritualistic rejuvenation ceremonies, these weren't just standard royal upbringing. They were part of a sophisticated program designed to activate dormant abilities within him, perhaps even through genetic manipulation or advanced biofeedback, making him a manufactured vessel for cosmic power rather than a natural inheritor. Was his long reign a testament to his strength, or to the success of a hidden program designed to maintain control over the human population through a carefully crafted divine illusion? No discussion of Ramses II would be complete without acknowledging his most infamous association, the Great Exodus, the story of Moses leading his people out of Egyptian bondage. While biblical accounts place the pharaoh of the Exodus as a figure often identified with Ramses II, mainstream archaeology offers no conclusive evidence of such an event, leading to centuries of debate. But what if the absence of evidence is, in fact, the most compelling evidence of all? What if the Exodus did happen, but not as a simple divine liberation, but as a complex, almost covert operation, shrouded in a veil of secrecy orchestrated by Ramses himself? One radical theory suggests that the Exodus was not a forced expulsion, but a calculated bargain. Imagine a hidden threat, an impending cataclysm known only to the highest echelons of Egyptian priests and perhaps Ramses himself. Perhaps prophetic visions or even direct communication from the celestial beings warned of a coming plague or natural disaster that would decimate the land. The plagues of Egypt might not have been divine wrath, but early warning signs of an impending environmental collapse, or even a precursor to a planned terraforming event by these unseen forces. In this scenario, Ramses, facing an impossible choice, made a deal with Moses. He allowed the Hebrews to leave, not out of fear of divine punishment, but to strategically disperse a large population that, due to their unique spiritual practices or genetic lineage, were deemed expendable or even dangerous by the hidden order. The parting of the Red Sea could have been a localized seismic event, triggered by an ancient technology or even subtly influenced by the Shining Ones to create the illusion of a miracle, thus reinforcing the divine mandate for both Moses and, paradoxically, for Ramses' own position as a chosen ruler. This would explain the lack of archaeological proof for a mass exodus. It was never a truly catastrophic event from the Egyptian perspective, but a controlled depopulation. It was a strategic release, a secret sacrifice to avert a greater, unseen calamity. Ramses, the ultimate pragmatist, may have orchestrated this miracle, not just to save his own people, but to preserve his own power and maintain the delicate balance of the empire in the face of truly terrifying hidden threats. What if this story of the Exodus is not just a tale of liberation, but a chilling account of a pharaoh making a pact with cosmic forces, forever altering the destiny of nations? Ramses II, the master illusionist of antiquity, didn't just build temples, he built a legend, a carefully constructed image of invincibility that extended even beyond the grave. For centuries, tales of the pharaoh's curse have haunted tomb robbers and archaeologists alike, a chilling reminder of the perils of disturbing the eternal rest of ancient kings. But was this curse merely superstition, or was it a final, insidious defense mechanism woven into the very fabric of his burial chamber by those who guarded his secrets? Some alternative theories suggest that the curse was not a supernatural phenomenon, but a highly advanced form of biological warfare, perhaps even a proto-germ warfare. Ancient Egyptian priests, with their intimate knowledge of botany and chemistry, might have cultivated highly virulent strains of bacteria or fungi, designed to lie dormant for millennia within the sealed tombs, only to unleash their deadly payload upon intrusion. This would explain the sudden, mysterious illnesses and deaths often associated with the opening of ancient tombs, far more insidious and effective than mere booby traps. And yet, Ramses' legacy lives on, not just in the colossal monuments he left behind, but in the very air of mystery that still clings to his name. His face, reconstructed from his mummy, stares out at us from the past, an almost unsettlingly familiar visage that seems to hold secrets untold. What if his image, meticulously preserved in countless statues and reliefs, isn't just a record of his reign, but an energetic imprint, a psychic anchor for his consciousness, or even a hidden code waiting to be deciphered? Modern computational linguistics and pattern recognition algorithms are now being applied to ancient hieroglyphs, revealing complex mathematical sequences and astronomical data far beyond what was previously understood. Could Ramses' inscriptions, dismissed by some as mere propaganda, contain hidden messages, warnings, or even instructions from the Shining Ones, intended for a future generation deemed worthy of their ancient knowledge? Ramses II, the pharaoh of pharaohs, continues to dominate the narrative of ancient Egypt, a testament to his extraordinary power, his cunning intellect, and the enduring human fascination with the divine. He challenges us to look beyond the surface, to question the accepted truths, and to consider the possibility that our history is far stranger, far more complex, and infinitely more intriguing than we could ever imagine. The sands of time may guard his deepest secrets, but the echoes of his enigma continue to whisper, inviting us to delve deeper into the unwritten chapters of human history.